Think it, believe it, achieve it. What if the life you are living right now is nothing more than the exact reflection of what you have allowed yourself to think day after day, year after year? Sit with that question for a moment. Because before you change your bank account, you must change your thinking. Before you change your relationships, you must change your thinking. Before you change your health, your habits, your future, you must first change the one thing that quietly controls all of it, your mind. Or think it, believe it, achieve it. That is not a slogan. That is a law. As certain as gravity, as certain as the sunrise, as certain as the changing of the seasons. And today we are going to walk through exactly what that law means, why so many people misunderstand it, and how you can finally begin to use it the way it was meant to be used. Most people hear the phrase law of attraction and they picture something magical. They picture sitting quietly, closing their eyes, imagining a new car, a new house, a new life, and somehow believing that the universe will simply hand it to them because they wished hard enough. That is not the law of attraction. That is fantasy. And fantasy has never built a business, never healed a broken relationship, never earned a single dollar, never changed a single life. The real law of attraction is this. You attract into your life what you consistently think about, what you consistently believe about yourself, and what you consistently act upon. Thought is the seed. Belief is the soil. Action is the water and the sunlight. Without all three working together, nothing grows. Think it, believe it, achieve it. 3 words, 3 stages. Miss one, and the whole process collapses. Let me ask you something else. Why do 2 people standing in the exact same circumstances, facing the exact same difficulty, walk away with 2 completely different outcomes? One rises, one stays stuck. One turns the obstacle into an opportunity. The other turns it into an excuse. What is the difference between them? It is not luck. Luck is a word invented by people who are not willing to look closely at cause and effect. It is not talent either, because I have watched talented people waste their entire lives, and I have watched ordinary people, ordinary in every visible way, build extraordinary lives simply because they controlled the one thing that mattered most, their thinking. Success is predictable. It's not luck, and it's not magic. It's hard work and discipline. Here is where most people go wrong. They separate thought from action. They believe thinking positively is enough. They read a book. They feel inspired for a few days, and then life returns to normal because nothing in their daily behavior actually changed. Positive thinking without disciplined action is simply daydreaming with better lighting. It feels good. It changes nothing. On the other side, you have people who work hard, who take action every single day, but their thinking is filled with doubt, fear, and self-criticism. They work themselves into exhaustion, yet they never seem to get ahead because their inner belief is quietly sabotaging their outer effort. Neither approach works alone. Thought without action is empty. Action without belief is fragile. But when you think it, when you believe it, and when you finally act on it with consistency, that is when transformation becomes inevitable. Picture a farmer standing at the edge of an empty field in early spring. He does not walk out there hoping wheat will simply appear. Or he does not stand at the edge of the field wishing for a harvest. He selects the seed carefully. He tills the soil. He plants with intention. He waters daily, whether he feels like it or not. He pulls the weeds even on the days he is tired. And months later, when the harvest comes in, nobody calls it luck. Nobody calls it magic. They call it the result of consistent, disciplined effort applied over time to a good decision made early on. Your life is that field. Your thoughts are the seeds you are planting into it, whether you realize it or not, every single day. Don't wish it were easier. Wish you were better. Read that again, because most people spend their entire lives waiting for circumstances to change instead of working on themselves so they are capable of handling bigger circumstances. They wish the economy were different. They wish their boss were different. They wish their family understood them better. They wish. But wishing changes nothing. Growth changes everything. The moment you stop asking life to be easier and start asking yourself to become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more skilled, that is the moment your entire trajectory shifts. Now let's talk about belief. Because belief is the bridge between a thought and a result, and it is the piece most people skip entirely. You can think about a better future all day long, but if deep down you do not believe you deserve it, or you do not believe you are capable of building it, your actions will always betray your doubts. Belief is not blind optimism. Belief is built. It is constructed the same way a building is constructed, one deliberate decision at a time. Every small promise you keep to yourself adds another brick to that foundation. Every time you say you will wake up early and you do, you are building belief. Every time you say you will finish the task and you finish it, you are building belief. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you are quietly tearing a brick out of that same foundation. Confidence is not something you are born with. Confidence is something you earn through the evidence of your own follow-through. Think it, believe it, achieve it. Notice something important about that phrase. Achievement comes last, not first. Most people want the achievement without doing the internal work required to think differently and believe differently. They want the harvest without ever touching the soil. But life does not work in reverse. The order matters. Thought shapes belief. Belief shapes action. Action repeated consistently shapes results. Try to skip a step, and the entire structure becomes unstable. Let's talk honestly about fear, because fear is the single greatest obstacle standing between where you are and where you could be. Fear whispers quietly in the background of almost every decision you make. What if I fail? What if people laugh? What if I try and it does not work out? What if I am not smart enough, talented enough, disciplined enough? Fear has a very persuasive voice, and if you listen to it long enough, it will convince you to stay exactly where you are because staying feels safe. But safety and growth have never lived in the same house. You cannot expand your life while protecting your comfort at the same time. At some point, you must decide which one matters more to you. Here is something I've observed over many years of watching people succeed and watching people stay stuck. Successful people are not people who feel no fear. That is a myth. Successful people feel exactly the same fear as everyone else. The difference is they have trained themselves to act in spite of it, rather than waiting for the fear to disappear before they move. If you wait until you feel fully confident before you take action, you will wait for the rest of your life, because confidence is not the cause of action. Confidence is the result of action. You do not think your way into courage, you act your way into courage. Take the first step while afraid. Take the second step while still afraid. By the 10th step, the fear has quieted, not because circumstances changed, but because you proved to yourself through direct evidence that you could handle it. Now let's talk about the conversations you have with yourself, because this may be the most overlooked piece of the entire law of attraction. Every single day you run an internal dialogue. Nobody else hears it, but you hear it constantly. And whatever you repeat to yourself internally begins to shape what you believe is true about your life. If you constantly tell yourself, I am not good with money, you will continue making decisions that keep you exactly where you are financially. If you constantly tell yourself, I always mess up important opportunities, You will unconsciously behave in ways that fulfill that exact prophecy. Your self-talk is not neutral. It is either building you up or quietly tearing you down, and it never simply sits still. Choose your internal words as carefully as you would choose words you speak to someone you love, because you are always listening. Let me give you a simple but powerful shift. Instead of saying, I am terrible at this, try saying, I am still learning this. Instead of saying, I always fail at new things, try saying, I am gaining experience with every attempt. This is not about lying to yourself or pretending problems do not exist. Problems are real. Setbacks are real. Difficult seasons are real. But how you narrate those events to yourself determines whether they become a wall that stops you or a step that lifts you higher. The event is neutral. The meaning you assign to it is not. Let's talk about habits, because thought alone, no matter how disciplined, cannot carry you to your goals without the vehicle of daily habit. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment, not motivation. Motivation is unreliable. It shows up when it feels like it and disappears exactly when you need it most, usually early in the morning or late at night when you are tired, or on the days when nobody is watching and no one would know if you skipped. Discipline does not ask how you feel. Discipline simply shows up because it has decided in advance what needs to happen regardless of mood. Think about your habits as small votes you are casting every single day for the type of person you intend to become. One workout does not make you healthy, but it is a vote for the healthy version of yourself. One skipped workout does not make you unhealthy, but if that becomes the pattern, the votes eventually determine the outcome. One good financial decision does not make you wealthy. One wasteful decision does not make you broke. It is the accumulation of thousands of small votes, repeated daily, that eventually decides the direction of your life. This is why consistency will always outperform intensity. A person who shows up moderately every single day will outproduce a person who shows up with tremendous intensity once a month. I want you to imagine the sunrise. It does not ask whether it feels inspired this morning. It does not wait for perfect weather conditions. It does not negotiate with the day. It simply rises every single morning without exception, and because of that unwavering reliability, life all across the planet depends on it. Your habits should function the same way. Reliable, predictable, unshakable. Not because you feel like it every day, but because you have decided in advance that this is simply who you are. Now let's return to preparation, because this is where the law of attraction actually intersects with real opportunity. Many people spend years praying for a bigger opportunity, a better job, a thriving business, a stronger relationship, more income, more influence, and yet they never stop to ask themselves an important question. Am I actually prepared to carry that opportunity if it arrived today? Because opportunity does not simply reward desire. Opportunity rewards readiness. If a life-changing opportunity showed up at your door this afternoon, would you have the skills, the discipline, the character, and the habits already built to sustain it, or would it overwhelm you and slip through your hands within a few months? This is why personal growth must always come before external expansion. Growth first, then the harvest. A business owner who has not developed real leadership skills will struggle the moment the business grows past a certain size, no matter how much they wanted that growth. A person who has not built financial discipline will lose a financial windfall almost as quickly as it arrived, regardless of how badly they wanted the money. Life has a strange sense of fairness in this regard. It rarely hands you more than you have already proven you can responsibly manage. So instead of asking, when will my opportunity arrive, start asking, am I becoming the kind of person who is ready to receive it? That single shift in question changes the entire direction of your effort. Let's talk about setbacks because no honest conversation about achievement can ignore them. There will be difficult seasons. There will be mornings where nothing seems to be working, where the results do not match the effort, where doubt creeps in and whispers that maybe none of this is worth it. This is normal. This is not a sign that you are failing. This is simply the process asking you whether you are serious. Anyone can stay disciplined when things are going well. The real transformation happens in how you respond when things are not. Think about the way a tree grows. Before you ever see a single branch above the ground, that tree has already spent considerable time developing roots beneath the surface. Roots you cannot see, roots that receive no applause, no recognition, no visible progress at all. Yet without those roots, the tree could never withstand the storms that come later, and it could never grow as tall as it was capable of growing. Your quiet effort, the mornings you chose discipline when no one was watching, the setbacks you pushed through without complaint, those are your roots. They are not wasted time, even when it feels that way. They are exactly what will allow you to stand tall later when the visible results finally begin to show. Let's talk about gratitude for a moment, because gratitude is one of the most underestimated tools available to you. Most people spend the majority of their mental energy focused on what is missing from their life. The money they do not have yet, the relationship that is not where they want it to be, the body they wish looked different, the career that has not taken off the way they hoped. And while ambition is important, constantly focusing on lack creates a mindset of scarcity that actually makes it harder to recognize opportunity when it appears. Gratitude does the opposite. It trains your attention to notice what is already working, what is already good, what progress has already been made, even if it is smaller than you hoped. A grateful mind is a more observant mind, and an observant mind is far more likely to notice the door that is quietly opening right in front of it. This does not mean pretending everything is perfect. It means refusing to let what is missing blind you to what is already present and already working in your favor. Gratitude and ambition are not opposites. They work together. Be thankful for where you are while still working diligently toward where you are going. That combination produces a steadier, more resilient kind of motivation than desperation ever can. Now, let's talk about the environment you allow into your life, because your mind does not operate in isolation. It is shaped constantly by what you feed it. The books you read or do not read, the conversations you engage in, the people you spend the most time around, the content you consume in quiet, unguarded moments. All of it is either strengthening your thinking or quietly weakening it, and there is no neutral option. If you surround yourself with complaint, you will eventually find yourself complaining. If you surround yourself with excuses, you will find yourself making them. But if you surround yourself with people who are disciplined, who are growing, who take responsibility for their outcomes, you will find that standard slowly becoming your own, almost without noticing it happen. Ask yourself honestly, is what I am feeding my mind making me stronger or weaker? Is this conversation building my character or eroding it? Is this habit moving me toward the life I say I want, or is it quietly moving me further away from it? These are uncomfortable questions, but uncomfortable questions are exactly the kind that produce meaningful change, while comfortable ones tend to keep you exactly where you already are. Let's bring this back to the center of everything we have discussed. Think it, believe it, achieve it. This is not a magical formula where wishing produces results without effort. It is a description of an internal process that, when followed in the correct order and sustained with discipline, reliably produces external transformation. You think about the life you want to build, clearly and specifically, not vaguely. You believe through the evidence of your own consistent actions that you are capable of building it. And then you achieve it, not overnight, not through a single decision, but through thousands of small, disciplined choices, repeated daily, long after the initial excitement has faded. Most people give up exactly at the point where results are about to begin showing, because that point often looks and feels identical to every other difficult day that came before it. There is no dramatic sign that says you are close. There is no signal telling you that tomorrow the breakthrough arrives. This is precisely why consistency matters more than motivation. Motivation cannot be trusted to carry you through that invisible stretch. Only decision and discipline can. I want you to think about your own life right now, honestly. What have you been thinking about most consistently over the past year? Has your mind been occupied with growth, or has it been occupied with everything that is going wrong? Has your internal dialogue been building you up, or has it been quietly tearing you down? Have your daily habits reflected the person you say you want to become, or have they simply reflected comfort and convenience? These questions are not meant to make you feel guilty. Guilt rarely changes anyone. They are meant to make you aware, because awareness is the very first step of change, and change is impossible without it. Here's what I want you to remember long after this message ends. Your future is not determined by hope. It is not determined by luck. It is determined by the thoughts you allow to take root in your mind, the beliefs you build through consistent action, and the disciplined habits you choose to repeat day after day, long after everyone else has quit. The law of attraction is real, but it does not operate the way most people imagine. It does not reward wishing. It rewards becoming. It rewards the person who is willing to think clearly, believe genuinely, and act consistently, even when no one is watching, even when progress feels invisible, even when the harvest seems far away. So beginning today, choose your thoughts deliberately. Guard them the way you would guard something valuable, because they are valuable. Build your belief through the evidence of promises kept to yourself. Take disciplined action daily, not because you feel inspired every single morning, but because you have decided once and for all who you are becoming. Plant the right seeds, water them with consistency, protect them from the weeds of doubt, excuses, and fear. And in time, the harvest will come, not as luck, not as magic, but exactly as it always has for everyone who has ever built an extraordinary life, through hard work and discipline. Think it, believe it, achieve it. That is not simply a title. That is the order in which every meaningful transformation has ever taken place. And it is available to you starting today, the moment you decide to take it seriously.